And I think the first thing we ought to do is to congratulate you on your Academy Award nomination for 5 Easy Pieces.
Thank you very much.
It couldn't have come as a big surprise, could it, Jack? Because it's been talked about for some time.
Yes, it was mentioned in the reviews and everything like that, but it always comes as a surprise when something really nice actually happens. You know, you don't let yourself think that it's going to, so when it does, it is a nice surprise.
And of course, it isn't an entirely new thing for you. You had a nomination last year, but in a different category as Best Supporting Actor.
Yes, I'm getting used to it now.
I'm glad you didn't say I'm getting used to being disappointed, because I wouldn't like that defeatist attitude in you, Jack.
Oh, no. You won't have it.
Who do you think will be your strongest competition this year?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the people in this kind of thing ought to analyze it. It's not really a race or anything like that, or a competition. I think that all of the actors, once you've distilled an entire year's output down to this few people, I think that everyone involved is, you know, representative of very high quality of work. I've seen all of the other performances, and they're all wonderful.
I guess for myself, Jack, I would think that Scott would be, you know, very strong for Patton. But now, since he says he won't accept it, do you think the Academy people will not vote for him?
I don't think they should let that influence their voting in any way. I think that if I think, as a member of the Academy, if I think George C. Scott gives the best performance of the year, that's who I vote for. Wouldn't you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think, Jack, to be frank with you, I would not vote for him. I might vote for the picture if I thought, you know, that it really was the best picture. But if he doesn't want it and he wants his name withdrawn from the ballot, I think I would say, so be it. I'll just honor it by not voting for him.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's a valid response. In other words, if I vote for what I think is best, I have to vote for what I think is best, not who I think, not how the person who I think is best feels about being best, if that's clear at all. That's the way I vote.
But
when I'm personally involved myself.
Jack, I do want to ask you, and I want to get it on record for all the people who will be watching the Academy on April 15th. Will you be there?
I really don't know. I suppose I will be there, but I may not. You know, I'm going to Europe even at this moment. I'm on my way over there, and I know I have to make another trip. I just finished directing a film called Drive, he said, and I'm working on it. And last year, when I went to the Academy Awards, I had to fly down. I was actually shooting that day. The company that produced the film, Easy Rider, BBS Productions, hired a Lear jet so that I could fly down that day for the awards. And I don't know if I'm willing to hire a Lear jet. I'm out of my own personal expense in order to make it. But it's, you know.
But then
the answer to your question is, for the record, I can't answer your question.
So then, who will accept for you in the event you don't rent the Lear jet and get there in person?
Oh dear me!
If you should win.
You're really asking me questions that are so far. I don't have. I wouldn't think about it. If I had of any family living, I could make a joke and say my mother, but I can't, so I don't know. You know, it would have to be someone who's going to be there.
That
Right.
by that. Okay, listen, what you're really here for is to talk about your current motion picture.
That's true.
And we'll shift gears now from 5 Easy Pieces in the nomination to the shooting.
Yes.
Now, tell us about the shooting, because I have not seen it. What kind of a film is it?
What kind of a film is it? It's a combination of the new mystery, which is exemplified by Blow Up, and the classic Western form of The Search, which is exemplified by The Searchers. It's a film which deals with new forms. It's an interesting film and a unique film in that it is being released a long time after it was actually made.
In other words, you made this before Five Easy Pieces?
Oh, a good deal before, about 1965.
Jack, then, what kind of a role do you play in the shooting?
The character I play, his name is Billy Spear. He's hired gun Millie Perkins, who plays the woman who was seeking vengeance for her husband and child having been run down in a western town. He's he's the kind of character who, had there been movies in those days, he would have been influenced on how he did his killing by movie images, but he's not quite up to it himself. In other words, he really is rather mindless, really kills with the kind of deadly impassivity that a rattlesnake does, because it's his nature. And he's kind of tagging along with the Millie because he probably has been her lover. And at one point in the film, she looks at him and says, Billy, did you ever run out on a friend? And he looks at her and says, I don't know, I have one.
I want to cry.
You know what I mean? In other words, this guy,
Very sad.
he's been so, well, his aura is death. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The man has a death aura, and he makes it his livelihood. So he's a very black character, you know, different than what I've been doing lately.
This picture won a number of awards, did it not, in Europe?
The picture has been in, I believe, 3, possibly 4 film festivals in Europe. 3 of them have been non-competitive festivals, and they were beautifully reviewed by the news media at the festivals. And in the 4th one, which was competitive, it won its category. It was the winner in the festival, which was the Pesaro Festival in Italy. It's a fairly well-known, in fact, the film has made many lists of the best 10 westerns already, and the film has never been released in the United States. Its reputation is primarily based on showings that it's had to audiences in Europe, and it's a quality motion picture. In other words, I really am putting myself back into a project. I really don't stand much. I just feel the audience really like to see the film. It was a modern film and a progressive film when it was made. It gives you really more in a way for your dollar. It's an evocative film. Coming from Los Angeles, I thought that was an earthquake again. It's an evocative film. It provokes response. You're going to leave the film and discuss what did it mean. It's going to touch you at many levels. It's unique. Nothing that I've ever done has ever pleased everyone. You know, there are going to be people who say, well, I'm sorry, you know, I can't get with this. And there will be people who as strongly favor it. But the film will provoke a response in you. You will not feel like you went out and why did I bother going to the movies tonight? I feel fairly confident in saying that. It's a Western, which is a popular form, and it's an extremely unique Western. Since I make them, obviously, I'm interested in them, and uniqueness is something that I always like to see in a Western, because it's like the classic film form, and to make one different when so many really good artists have gone before him, I think is a wonderful tribute to Monty Hellman's, the man who directed the film's talents, and the people who wrote them, and so on.
Jack, thank you very, very much for talking with us, and we'll be watching on April the 15th, and I'd like nothing better than to see you walk up on that stage and take that Oscar.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you for inviting me to be on your show.